Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another great podcast. This is the TonicMan, as most of you know, except those of you who are brand new to the call, and we welcome you. There are many, many new members joining, and a lot of you hopefully are on this call. It's a place where you can get some really great information, in particular with regard to the success stories, because the success stories is what drives the whole business. When folks hear someone else, a third party, not me, not us, not someone from the company, but a stranger, talking about how great the tonic worked for them on their health issue, then that new person with the same health issue will probably want to give it a try. People will try one bottle. I mean, what's the big loss? Isn't it worth it? As the famous expression goes, what if it works? You should tell that to everybody that you're talking to, that you are trying to share the JC Tonic, the youth solution, with. And when they balk at it or they find an excuse, just tell them, Mary, John, what if it works? Because they are suffering from something that they've been suffering from a long time. Whatever they're doing, whatever medications, whatever treatments, whatever supplements, whatever anything they're doing, they're still complaining about their health issues. How do you know that? Because you hear it from them all the time. When you go out with your pals for a coffee or lunch or a bingo game or go to church, everybody you know, the first thing they talk about is how lousy they feel. And they feel lousy from a myriad of problems. Some people have 2 or 3 of the problems that you hear about from everyone. Some have more. You've seen some of our videos. There's one fellow with 22 different health issues. Holy smokes. Talk about out of balance. So bringing your body back into balance is the role of the youth solution. Tonight, well, it's a bit special. Not that every podcast is not special, but my dad was born on March the 15th in 1904. So it's around that March 15th, and we thought it would be nice to talk about him for a moment, because all of you who are drinking the tonic and who have had really remarkable results really have him to thank for it. And luckily or thankfully or however it happened, he managed to put this formula together, and it has been doing what it is doing for you and your family and friends for 80 years. 80 years? No, more. 82 years now. He started commercializing it in 1943. Holy smokes. 1945, he was really doing a lot of business. He had to form a company. He called it Matol, M-A-T-O-L. And his product at the time he called Matonol, M-A-T-O-N-O-L. And it has been helping not only humans, but animals as well. Actually, anything that has blood, this is going to work for them and give them better health. And so people have been giving it to their pets. You ought to try it on your pets. Sure, they may not like the taste. You could bury some in their food, especially the wet kind of food. I put the tonic in the water bowl. The dogs drink of that bowl, so does the cat. So they all get a little bit. You don't put too much. in a big bowl of water, put, I don't know, quarter of an ounce. It doesn't matter because you're going to do this every day or whenever you fill up the bowl. So they're going to get a few drops of it every day. And that will be enough over a dog's lifetime or a cat's lifetime to give them extra years to live and also free of a lot of health issues. So start doing that because you will see in no time at all the dog, especially if it's older, has more energy, is jumping up more, and so on. And especially those dogs and cats of yours that are starting to get feeble, this will perk them up right away, just like it does for you. So, as you can see, of course, I can talk forever about the JC Tonic, the youth solution. I could talk to you about how Ponce de Leon landed in Florida and was looking for the fountain of youth, but I think my father found it. I don't think so. I know so. You know how many people are still drinking this 20, 30, 40 years later, and they all look 10, 20 years younger and feel 10, 20 or more years younger? Thousands. You could be one of them. Make sure you continue on a regular basis and you will see. Take photos before you start drinking the tonic or when you have new folks starting. Photos, close-ups, and some of the body, and then photos again 3 months later and 6 months later. You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and you're going to see how easy it is to remark that indeed you are younger. It is a youth solution, folks. Let's get to our guests because they have some really extraordinary things to tell you. And as we outlined in our newsletter to you, holy smokes, I hope you invited the whole country because we seem to be talking tonight from three people covering so many health issues that millions of people in this country alone are suffering from. And don't forget, we ship overseas, over any sea. Make sure you contact Home Office if you have family and friends in other countries. We can look after them for you. So here we go. Our first guest. This lady is going to tell you what's really going on. Hey, come on down. So, Gail, tell me what made you take the tonic in the first place and what happened? You're 77, so when did you start?
Probably
Must have been like,
30.
yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say at least 20, 30 years ago, 20
Yeah.
at least. And you were suffering, you were mentioning of arthritis.
I also had irritable bowel syndrome, and it took that away. That was that was awesome. I had hot feet. It took that away.
What is hot feet?
My feet were hot all the time. I had to go to bed with cold socks on my feet so I could get to sleep.
Isn't that something most people have cold feet, you know?
Yeah.
And so that disappeared just like that?
Yeah. Especially the irritable bowel syndrome. That was wonderful to get rid of.
And how long did that take?
Maybe a couple of months.
That's all? And you had it for
Yeah.
quite a long time?
Yeah. Probably had it for a year or so.
We've had so many really wonderful testimonials from just about anything and everything. And people, some of them suffered 10, 20, 15 years. And all of a sudden, within a year, it's gone. Really miraculous. So you just decided to continue drinking it because it did that for you, or did it continue to do other things?
I didn't have anything else after that.
The tonic kept you in good repair.
Yeah. I did get COVID, but I got such a light case. I think I had a sore throat for 5 days, and that was it.
You know,
And
Gail, I've heard that from so many people who normally they said when they used to get a cold, they'd be laid up, sniffling and so on forever. And they also said the same thing about the COVID, that they got it, but it was so light. A lot of people started to double their dose during that time. We noticed that in ordering, people decided just to buck up their immune system even more. And I'm sure that's what happened to you as well.
yeah, I had a sore throat for 5 days. That was it. I mean, the people around me were sick as a dog with it.
And you were already in your 70s, so normally
Yeah.
people who are in their 70s are usually a little weaker and even more apt to get more sick than younger people. But that's right. Your body was able to withstand and fight back. That is great.
Yeah, and I used to get colds all the time, and I haven't had a cold in years.
And all those thousands of people around you don't know about.
I tell them, they
Can
always have an excuse. I tell everybody.
tell them. I mean, they're all suffering for years, and they all have these problems with all whatever they're trying. Nothing works. They're still suffering. Maybe they got a little better, but just tell them, what if it works?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you're still in good repair. That is great. If you're like you are now at 77, you're on your way to continue with pretty darn good health. And in
Yeah,
the end,
yeah,
as we get older, I mean, you see people creeping around or stuck in a wheelchair or can't move or can't this. If you can at least walk and your brain still works and you can still do things when you're in 80s and 90s, that's the way to go.
yeah. Well, you're 87.
I mean, yeah, but I had a bit of an advantage. I started 40 years even before you did.
Wow.
Yeah, I started when I was 11. That's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Your story and your positive attitude and you being your age and being energetic like you are, that enthusiasm, even over a phone, reaches people. When they hear people who are energetic, they can feel it. Even the nonverbal communication even comes through over a phone. Thanks for calling and great chatting with you.
Okay, bye.
So, look, folks, Gail, 77 years old, listen to her. Listen to what this wonderful youth solution can do for folks, even in their 70s. And our next guest is 88. Wait till you hear him. Has he got a lot of energy? Charles, where are you?
I was just going to update you that you told me to take 1 ounce and then take the 2 ounces after a few days. And then after a few days, take 3 ounces and build up to 3 ounces. Well, I started Sunday when we talked, I started taking the second ounce that night. And so the next day I said, I feel like I ought to just, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way. So I started taking 3 ounces on Monday. And then Wednesday, I started taking 4 ounces. So I am taking 4 ounces a day. I'm feeling good. I got off all of my other nutritional products that I was taking, and I'm just taking the tonic, and I'm taking my pill for my heart, and I'm taking my pill for my blood center because I wouldn't get off of that without some research and thinking. I get up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, take an ounce, and then about 7:30, eat a half a banana or something, and then about 10:30, take the other ounce. I'm putting 1 ounce in a 6 ounce glass, and I fill it up with pure water. And then about what Helen and I eat about 11 o'clock, and then about 3 o'clock, I drink the third ounce in a 6 ounce glass of water. And then about 10 o'clock, we go to bed, and I drank 1 ounce and 2 ounces of water, and then drink it down and lay back and sleep. And my sleep score was 84 last night. My HRV was 124. That's a pretty good score. I'm feeling okay, and the reason I started taking the third and fourth ounce and I feel like I'm okay with 4 ounces, is my body just kind of tells me to do that. I'm feeling pretty good. I don't have that mild depression that I had, don't have that mild headache that I had. And I have feeling in the bottom of my feet already. From a 1 to 10, I would say that it was at about a 4, and now I feel like it's a 6 or 7. So increasingly getting better. It's better today than it was yesterday. Matter of fact, parts of my heel and underneath my toes, when I massage them in the morning, they feel almost like the rest of my leg. I don't have all of that nerve feeling that I had before. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Hey, everyone. Charles is 88, same age as I am. Well, I'm not 88 yet, but both of us were born in 1937. He's 88 because his birthday was in January. Mine is in November. So we're pretty much close, but we're at least born in the same year. So I had a lot of things to chat with him about because we go back to the same era, that era in the 50s, which was the golden era of North America, or probably of the world. We had such a wonderful childhood. I mean, we used to go to sleep without locking the front door of the house. We had dogs that you would just leave wander around. None of them had a tag on them. They would come and go. It was wonderful. It was like what's that? There was a movie, Pleasantville. Everybody was walking around like in a dream. We had real food. We didn't have the choices, of course, that you have today. And where we were up in Quebec City in the winter, you couldn't get fresh lettuce and so on, but we made do, and we were all healthy, and no one was obese. There was no child obese, the odd one here and there, but that was probably because of some health issue. Everybody was outside playing sports. We did not have a television set until 1954. And when we had it, it was one of the first in our neighborhood. Everyone used to come over on Sunday night to watch Ed Sullivan. Okay, you youngsters watching or listening to this podcast don't know who Ed Sullivan was. But as you can see, I can go on and on. Our next guest has another set of health issues that just disappeared. So, Elaine, tell us, when did you start?
I was 40,
When
going on 41.
when you first started
When I was
drinking
no,
the
I
tonic,
actually started taking the tonic about probably 3 years before that. 2 or
and
3 years before that.
and before that, your blood was always weak and iron poor.
Always,
Always.
my entire life. Anytime doctors looked at me, they would say that was the problem, and they always trying to build my blood with liver and beets and with stuff I didn't like. But at any rate, when I had to go for this surgery and he wanted me to have a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
He put me on the irons from November through January. He said for those 3 months so that you can be prepared in February for the surgery. And I just refused to get on the iron. And when the phlebotomist took my blood and made this little facial expression, I said, I know. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't take the irons. I know it looks bad. I actually was going to cancel this procedure. She said, oh no, I'm looking because I don't know the last time I don't know if I've ever seen blood this rich. I said, what? What are you talking about? You're not talking about the right person. My blood is far from rich. She said, this blood is rich.
Oh, wow.
And
Look at that.
only thing I've been taking was that formula. She couldn't have any problems with it because she's just the messenger taking the blood to report it and turn it in. And it was fine. And I went through the surgery and everything. Now here's the thing. Not only that, I had noticed I used to suffer with headaches. And when I was in college, my parents always thought you just read too much, you study too much. Because I went year round. I would go to classes to other people's colleges during the summer, wherever I was.
What do you have?
So
What
they
do you
thought
have now? You have 3 PhDs or what?
I don't. You would think so. So listen, so you would, and so I always, was always studying, and I still do now a lot of reading. And so they were thinking that it was just too much, and that's why I get the headaches. And because I was always active in a lot of things, and that those headaches went away without me even realizing it. Because I didn't take any medications for it. They prescribed medications because I was against pharmaceuticals. I didn't take it. Those headaches went away. I also had something going on in my body, feminine wise, went away. That went away like miraculously, to the point where when folks start, I'm 75 years old now, when folks start talking about perimenopause and menopause,
Was that like hot flashes? You had hot flashes?
I never had any of it. I never had any of it. The problems that I was having with my body prior to that would probably cause the kind of menopausal problems.
Yeah.
I didn't have those. I didn't have the hot flashes and all of that. I have not. I said I don't. I always tease people. I said when I get old enough, I'll have menopause. You know.
Yeah,
Because
everybody who's been drinking it through that period don't have the problem, and the people that have the hot flashes, if they start drinking the tonic, the hot flashes start to disappear.
well, mine disappeared before it came
Yeah,
because I had been drinking it prior to.
yeah.
So it's I was just everything I've gotten. There was another product very good from another gentleman, and I believe in his because it reminded me of yours. He basically dealt with minerals.
Did it work for you or not?
Oh, it worked marvelously for me. Yeah, and so these were the only two products that I could actually say that yes, it made a difference in my body. I've tried a lot of things that were very good, and I thought that they were doing something, but I could not say. Like even with KM, when everybody around me were talking about how much energized they were getting, I didn't get the energy and all of that. I didn't get any of that because I was so active anyhow. So I wouldn't know whether it was coming from that or coming from me naturally.
Sure.
But I stuck with it because of what the ingredients were. I knew the ingredients could not harm me; they could only help me. And in the long run, it did help me
Well, and
without me realizing.
everybody seems to be short of most of those minerals, So
Yes,
yeah.
especially that magnesium, which I was short of, and I realized that later. But the thing is, people tend to they want something quick. They want it to happen overnight. And like your doctor that talks about the healing crisis, when the little things come up, they tend to say, "Oh, this stuff is killing me. This stuff is no good. What is that you've given to me?" And for people like that can't understand, even though I've talked to them, I just let them go.
Well, that's why we were like, you might say, blessed almost when we met Dr. Fife, and he had written that book, and then he did that for us on the tonic. I mean, it's so important because you're right.
Yeah.
People would think, "Oh my God, this is no good for me. I better stop it right away." And it's so important for we call our distributors ambassadors of health, for our ambassadors to pass that little bit of nugget information along right away so people know. So far, so good. Most people do think about it, and it's great that people know this way. But you're right. So many people are taking things, and something happens. It's really not the product. It's just that healing crisis.
So I'm excited.
Well, you sound chipper for 75. Boy, oh boy, Elaine, good for you. You must still be pretty active with a lot of things.
I am, and every once in a while I tell myself, "Oh my goodness, Elaine, you are 75. What are you doing?" And my biggest regret now for finding getting introduced to you and your tonic again is I wish it was 25 years earlier. I wish I just want to tell everybody about it. My daughter, I told her she was going. She called me just to tell me some quick little joke before she got out of her garage. And I said, "Oh, well, let me just tell you this. I'm getting ready to talk to the owner of what we used to know as KM." I said, "I did find the KM." She said, "What? I just talked to you about that." I said, "I found it. I'll get back and let y'all know."
Was he drinking before?
Oh, yeah, they didn't have no choice. I gave it to my kids. She was 10 years old. She was 45 this year. She was 10 years old when she said to me, "Mom, just take the teaspoon and it dissipates. The taste dissipates." once you get in the mouth. I always remember that because that's what this little 10-year-old talked to me about dissipation, you know? And so, but literally, I started taking it that way after she said that. My son, and it never had any problem with him because he takes, when he was young, that didn't bother him either. But I was following everybody else who said to add it to some juice and orange juice and all that. And that's what I was doing. And I I would take it down.
Even with the orange juice, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, to me, it just stretched the bad taste. But when she said that to me, I started doing that, and I said, "That's it."
Well,
And I tell people,
you tell her that
Mhm.
you talked to me, and I started when I was 11, and I've been drinking it ever since. And I'm 87 now, and I'm telling you, Elaine, you still have time because when I was 80, my wife and my two daughters took me out for a nice celebratory dinner. And halfway through the dinner, I said, "I have a big announcement to make," and they all dropped their forks, and they thought probably I'm going to say, "That's it, I'm retiring." I said, "I'm only going to do this for another 20 years, then I'm going to retire."
That's right. That's right.
So I only have 13 years, and you have 25 years. And you know what? It's never too late. Everybody around you really, really needs it now. Maybe
They
they
do.
thought at 40 or 50 they didn't need it so much, but they really need it now.
They really.
So pass the ammunition, you know?
I will. I will.
So there you have it, folks. Happy that you are here, and I wanted to let you know, for those of you who are kind of new, maybe you did not realize or understand what KM and Matol and all that talk about previous. Well, in 1984, I started a organization to market my father's preparation, and it was really very successful. Now, it was not the complete formula as you have today. There were a few things different about it, but it did a really, really great job, and we had people with amazing testimonials. Today, we have people with more amazing testimonials, and those success stories, of course, that you heard tonight are going to be sent out to you and used on the website. And I want you all to remember one thing very important. This preparation of my father, it's impossible that it can be a cure for all those health issues. I mean, look, imagine if it was a cure for everything, it couldn't be. And it's not. What it does is it cleans up the blood supply. When your blood, which is the staff of life, starts getting cleaned up and is able to better do its job, what it is supposed to do, then you have better health, because it gives a new meaning to the organ that maybe is losing some of its ability to do whatever it has to do. I don't know what organs do. Folks, they do 500,000 things a second, a million things a second. I don't even know. Does anyone know? All I know is that if your body is not in balance, which is the reason why people have poor health, you should go and make sure you pass it around, the audio recording of Daniel B. Mowry, PhD, author of the great book Herbal Tonic Therapies. He writes on our website. As a matter of fact, there's a part of what he says that he lists 10 points of what a product must be able to do in order to be allowed to be called a whole body tonic. And guess what? Yep, you guessed it. Only JC Tonic, the youth solution. He said he knows of no other product on the market that can do the same thing. So you've got something in your hands that is very valuable, worth its weight in gold. Folks, go forward, spread the word, share your good fortune with all those who don't have the good fortune. Let them know that there is a possibility that they can get well again. Remember, use those 4 famous words. Just tell them, what if it works? Okay, we'll see you on the next call, and in the meantime, take an ounce and feel the bounce. Bye for now.
Urac Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be of everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Urac Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.